Tonight on the Black Channel, lessons of the Buffalo Massacre. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media. This is the Black Channel. I am the Black Authority. And you are listening live to the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are welcome to join us. And on tonight's program, there are a few things I want to cover here. We did a program last night discussing the inherent character flaws of individuals who believe that they can hide from white supremacy. Individuals who showed their lack of character publicly. And that is something to be thought of here. But there are other lessons to learn. And there was something in particular that we touched on last night's program, and I'm going to do that again here tonight as well. Because there are lessons to be learned from the massacre perpetrated by the white supremacist in Buffalo, New York, Peyton Gendron. There are lessons to be learned from that. And chief among them is that you're at war. And when you are at war, you shouldn't need somebody to sit up here and remind you 7 or 8 times, 10 or 12 times, 30 or 40 times that you are at war. Of all the things that we have learned from the massacre in Buffalo, I want to start with the idea and the acknowledgement that they have not forgotten about you. It doesn't matter what is going on or what is happening. It doesn't matter what they say on Fox News. It doesn't matter what they say on Twitter. At the end of the day, black people are public enemy number one. They are looking at you. They are staring you down. They are looking for vulnerabilities. They are never ending in their search to harm black people. And you might not be thinking about white supremacy, but I assure you white supremacy is thinking about you. The next thing that you want to understand is that they have taken it to an academic level. And it was one thing when it was academic, when they were simply trying to dehumanize you scientifically with nonsense like phrenology. But now they're taking it to a scientific level of saying, okay, here's where you can systematically research and become the best Amazon shopper that you can be to go after black people. Their communications are far more serious. Their dedication to it. And that brings me to the number one lesson that I want us to learn. The number one lesson that I think we need to take away from the Buffalo Massacre is that this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening right in front of you. And it is the result of being prepared or not being prepared. I want to remind you here that there were photographs, and I before was hesitant to show it, but I would be remiss if I neglected to do so. This is one of the pictures in Buffalo. As you can see, the police crime tape is up. There are people who are standing there and they've gathered. And I noticed something. Take a look at the tops of their heads to the soles of their feet. Yes, I'm going to say it tonight. Yes, I would be remiss if I didn't. I am not going to overlook or neglect this or ignore it anymore. Look at the top of their heads to the soles of their feet. How about some more? Here's when the crowds were gathered. Take a look at the tops of their heads to the soles of their feet. There were a few, and I do mean a few. There were a few, and I do mean a very few, who seemed to not be oblivious to the world around them, but very, very few. Another picture here. This one was one of the first ones. You can see it. I think this encapsulates the issue so perfectly. A bunch of weird, wacky hairstyles on the females. A bunch of males looking completely effeminized, neutered. And now, yes, I want to go ahead and say it because you're not going to like it, but I need to go ahead and say it. And you're not going to like it, but I'm going to say it here. Now, observe the white men. Yeah, I said that. Now, observe the white men. Take a look at 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 them, including the shooter himself. Not dressed like overgrown children. Not dressed like prepubescent adolescents. Not looking like they are unprepared, not only for the day, but for life. What I want you to understand is that what makes you a soft target starts between your ears. They were targets before they got out of bed. And their mindset when they went into the street is that they ain't got out of bed. This is a refusal to grow up. You are in the middle of a damn war zone and you are refusing to grow the hell up. When I coined the phrase intelligent black society well over a decade ago, going on 20 years ago now, I did that because I wanted to make the distinction between those of us who are prepared, between your ears, those of us who are prepared and those who ain't ready for a damn thing except to die. And they have gotten worse and worse and worse, to the point that now, no matter what occurs, they are in an ever-present state of vulnerability. There is no discipline. There is no preparedness, which means that there is no acknowledgement that there's a threat, much less the ability to deal with it. I'm seeing grown men with shirts that damn near go down to their knees. It might as well be a miniskirt. You're seeing females here, tacky at best. And I'm going over just basics here. I'm going at basics. It's the middle of the day. Hell, at this point here, it's the afternoon. It is the afternoon, and you're counting house shoes galore. You're not ready for life. That 1,000-yard stare, not just from the shenanigans, but from the children. If the children had to run, they couldn't. If you actually were in a situation where you had to run, you couldn't. You have not been prepared physically, mentally, emotionally, starting with the physical. Individuals more concerned with self-expression. More concerned with self-expression, even if the expression of yourself is a failure. Perfectly fine to express yourself, but what if yourself is a failure? Now what? Big, sloppy, built like land roaming hippopotamuses. And now you can see clearly with the next generation grooming them to be exactly the same, they'll be even more vulnerable. The basic ability to clothe themselves, lost, neglected, completely abandoned. And if you think that that's your self-expression is a victimless crime, you better ask these people. You know, the ones who came fully dressed. Why don't you take a look at that and compare it to their targets? Let me tell you something right here. When you talked about Malcolm X wasn't standing in front of your ass looking like he had just gotten out of bed at 1 in the afternoon. We used to laugh at and mock and ridicule those types of individuals. Now they're sitting up here in an eternal state of childishness. In an eternal infantilized state. In a perpetual childlike state. When you take a look at the Black Panthers at 1 in the afternoon, they weren't dressed like a bunch of overgrown vagrants. They weren't wearing their house shoes and their sleeping shoes. That's not a hallmark of being overdressed. That's a hallmark of adulthood. That demonstrates that you are ready for whatever the day may bring. Or that you aren't. You are demonstrating that you are ready for whatever the day might bring, or that you are completely unprepared and unawares. Everybody has to grow into adult, has to become an adult, but everybody is not ready to take on adulthood. And when you have grown people out here, and you're seeing house shoes and slippers galore in the middle of the damn day, most of these people here were not even inside the stores. As a matter of fact, they came from the surrounding neighborhood. They didn't even have the sensibility enough to at least come looking like they're ready for battle. At least come looking like it, because, by the way, the white men showed up that way. The white men showed up prepared. All the white men showed up prepared. And the white women, they all showed up ready. Their victims, not so much. Their victims didn't look quite so prepared. From their tacky, yacky hair, their tacky, yacky, wacky hair, all the way down to their misshapen feet. This is not a matter of socioeconomics. This is a matter of maturity and individuals showing that they do not actually believe they're in a war zone. They are not actually getting up in the morning with the idea of the first and foremost priority being survival. They're not doing that. That's the lesson I take away from the Buffalo Massacre. Because I know this was actually the first picture that I saw. The picture that's on your screen right now, this was actually the first picture that I saw from the scene of the shooting. This was actually the first thing I saw. And when I saw this, all I could say was, well, boy, don't they look like they understand that they're in a free fire zone? Don't they look like they understand it? Don't they look like they're ready? In the last 6 months, I've traveled this country from one end to the other here. Let me tell you, I'm going to places like Whole Foods. And of course, it will always be some overly bummified Negro come running up in there and whatnot. If you go early in the mornings in Atlanta, in Pennsylvania, in Kentucky, in Ohio. Areas where black folk been shot at by these people, and you're supposed to be on point a decade after Zimmerman. A decade after Zimmerman, you're supposed to be on point. You are supposed to be mentally on alert at all times. Someone explain to me, what kind of fight you gonna win wearing some damn house shoes? What kind of battle are you expecting to win wearing flip-flops? Exactly how ready and on what sure footing are you going to have wearing your damn slippers? What is your ability to defend yourself when your clothes are extremely ill-fitting? What is your ability to escape from harm? But that only means something if you think you are in harm's way. And too many folk have been lulled into a sense of false security that white daddy is here to protect them. Or at the very least, that white daddy doesn't care about them. And then they woke up one day, oh no, not only does he care about you, you are first on the menu today. Not only does he care about you, you are first on the menu. What I am telling you all is that the age of mental and emotional slovenliness and sloppiness is over. You are supposed to, at a minimum, be dressed and prepared for something of an unfortunate nature to occur. You are supposed to be dressed and prepared and ready for work, or at the very least, you are supposed to look like you are serious. Just giving the appearance that you are serious and alert and vigilant, that alone is enough to make most of these white supremacists reconsider. Remember that when in their minds, soft targets are those that are unprepared, unsuspecting, unalert. That's why they don't like to go after the young, because at the very least, a room full of young people are going to be more suspicious and more alert. At the very least, even if they're otherwise unprepared, they will at least be more alert. The elderly tend not to be. Not all of them, but it's only those of us who started out young and practiced that. And if old folk who are not alert started off as young people who are not alert. But generally speaking, young people tend to be more alert than the elderly. That's why that's one of the factors that makes them strongly hesitant to try to run up on younger people. They tend to be more alert. They also tend to be more active. They will respond quicker. A soft target is that which will simply stand there until you dust it off. You want to know what makes you a soft target? An individual who cannot or will not make the distinction between where they are. You see, there's a reason why we call them formal events, formal attire, business casual, sleep clothes. You see, everything's supposed to have a place. If you're going to work on your car, there's a certain type of clothes you need to be wearing. But this idea that you're a big ass overgrown toddler looking for somebody to come and pick your 240-pound ass up and carry you on their hip, that's stupid. And what you have right now are individuals who do not understand that they are at war and do not wish to accept it because it is a reality too devastating to accept, because they know that they're not ready. They know that they are not ready, and that's why they are sitting there like that, and they've been doing that for a while. I want you all to understand the reason why we are uncompromising is because this is the result of being compromising. You see, there were a whole bunch of folk who used to laugh at us and ridicule us. You know, the individuals who never wanted to grow up. Peter Pan syndrome. Yeah, because you're not ready for adulthood, so the best you can do is, in your mind, seemingly mock the people who are, and then the devil came down to Georgia, or in this case, came up to Buffalo. And all of a sudden you go scrambling for the people who are always prepared and always vigilant. You went scrambling to them. Let's be very clear. Last week we had a spike in people watching. Yes, that always happens after one of these events. Everybody knows when they have been bull jiving around and playing around. They know the people who are always vigilant. Nobody respects our vigilance until the damn bullets start flying. Then they respect our vigilance. But they don't respect it enough to become one of us so that they're not vulnerable. Or at the very least, you are far less vulnerable. Grown men and grown women who have adopted a childlike posture in the face of white supremacy. People, there is no place to run and hide out. They are not looking to make you their big babies. They want you vulnerable either as a tool of servitude, either outside of the prison or inside of the prison, and barring that, eliminate you. And this is the way it always goes. They always do this. But if you think that being feckless and lazy and unprepared and refusing to grow up, if you think that that's a victimless crime, let's be very, very clear, it is not. White Zaddy is out here knocking off not just Bushika and Shantanika, but the individuals who consider themselves to be more highbrow. Seems like every week you're waking up and some female who thought that she was so in good with White Zaddy and so ingratiated finds herself the victim. So it's not just at the lower levels. You have some of these individuals who think they made a little bit higher and then found out the hard damn way. No, vigilance is vigilance. Vigilance is vigilance. And probably the most powerful gesture that you could have is to demonstrate at the very least that you are vigilant about it. And vigilance starts with the way you present yourself and the way you look. From the top of your head to the sole of your feet, if you leave the house, what you're wearing is supposed to be functional. Yes, if you are dressed in a great, big, huge tent, sloppy manner, looking like a walking circus tent, how you do one thing is how you do all things. It is very obvious you're not really prepared for anything. And let me tell you something else, just in case some of you think that's a victimless crime as well. Let me ask you a question. You damn right I'm going to say this. By the way, I would like for you all to take a look at these two paragons of physical fitness here and ask yourselves a question. If you are in the store and the mad gunman starts busting off in there, and these two chicks are standing in between you and the exit, what are you gonna do? They're moving at a damn elephant's pace. What exactly do you plan to do with these two dromedary standing in front of you? What are you gonna do? You can't knock them over. You can't jump over them unless you're especially athletic. You can't squeeze between them nor climb under them, just in case you think it's not a threat to you. And they're probably going to try to move as fast as they can, which in their case is a leisurely 2 miles an hour. And there you are. My point to you is that if you think that having people around you who are not prepared is no threat to you, you'd better think again. You had better think again. It is a threat to you. It has always been a threat. It won't stop being one. And the chief lesson I think we can learn from the Buffalo Massacre is about the perils of not being prepared. The perils of adopting a practice of being overgrown as children. The perils of being told, well, if I want to be bumming at me being me. The house shoes and hair bonnets. All these house shoes and hair bonnet bums. And many of them will be trying to impress your children and influence your children. You better be vigilant and you better be on guard about that. Let's be very, very clear. And this will upset some people, but damn you. Many of these individuals have accepted their fate. Many of them have accepted their fate. They don't want anything better. I've spent over a decade now telling you all about the old niggas. And when you say, Jason, what is the problem with the old niggas? Why you got a problem with the old niggas? The problem with the old niggas is that they have accepted their fate and they're not fighting white supremacy anymore. The most they're hoping for now is a peaceful death. And they will do anything it takes to get that. They've accepted it. But for those of you who have not accepted that as your fate, understand they are in your way. It is not harmless and it is not a victimless crime. And if you think to yourself that it will be, if you think to yourself that somehow you'll be sitting on the outside and, well, that won't affect you, just understand, I don't say these things because they sound nice. I say it because it can be difficult. Learn these warning signs. Another one of the lessons of the Buffalo Massacre is the unwillingness or inability to know what is in your best political interests. And to have people who represent those interests. That's another problem that we've had. You'll notice that the white supremacist media, the white political government, every damn body is on board, in case you didn't notice. They're all on board there. Black folk are trying to figure out how to make that work. Well, I've got somebody on the line here tonight who hopefully can go ahead and dispel some of that for us here. Brother Marcel Dixon, welcome back to the Black Channel.
Hey, Jason, thank you for having me back.
Well, you called us on a fiery evening here in particular. I haven't talked to you here in a little bit. We're coming down the home stretch for the race here in South Carolina. Certainly, as you know, I've been present and accounted for, but I don't want to be remiss to not ask about one thing here. You know about the shooting in Buffalo. We know that you've weighed in on that. I want to ask you a very basic question here. In your opinion, as someone who is currently running for office, how do you feel about the response of the so-called black political class in this country in regard to this event?
Pitiful. And I started off when going to Congressman James Clyburn's page, because he is not only a member of the Congressional Slack Caucus, he is also the majority whip, meaning he not only gets the votes together to get policies passed, he also introduces like the agenda on which the Democrats will work. That man did not say a word about that massacre of our people who are just grocery shopping until the next day. Not only that, he did not specify that this was an anti-black attack. He just said racism. When Asian Americans were massacred in that awful shooting in that massage parlor, he specified that it was an act of anti-Asian hatred. He didn't even use the hashtag Stop Asian Hate. He then also introduced legislation specifically for Asians. And I know there's this myth going around of people saying that COVID-19 hate bill is not just for Asians. The policy enactment, no. But if you go to the legislative text that talks about the purpose, they specifically and exclusively mention Asian Americans. They somehow have this amazing ability to specify Asians. With us, it's black and brown or people of color, but they specifically specified Asians. Clyburn has not done anything remotely like that. He hasn't introduced any legislation on anti-black hate bill, which Benjamin Crump has been being the loudest voice for pushing, but he's not in Congress, but neither has the Congressional Slack Caucus. They're making this an issue about guns. This was not about guns. This was about anti-blackness in the U.S.
You know, the misdirection has been criminal. And I was warning people from the very, very beginning here that when I was reading his manifesto, it was very, very clear with people trying to claim, oh, he had mental problems. Tucker Carlson has picked up on that one. He's been on the hot seat about that replacement theory stuff. He's been on the hot seat and his thing is, oh, it's not an act of white supremacy. This is about mental illness. He's mentally ill. Okay, he's deflecting. On the so-called liberal Democrat side, well, it's not about white supremacy. It's about guns. Hillary Clinton, I reposted her stuff. We need to do something about guns. Other Democrats, we need to do something about guns. The issue is not guns. The issue is white supremacy. And it's all very interesting that when they have an opportunity to target other people, that goes perfectly fine, especially when they target us. But all of a sudden now it's about guns, which we all know isn't going anywhere because the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. Guns are a tool. So this is another bait and switch in that regard to get us deflecting and talking about something else as opposed to A, what the real issue is, and B, something you can actually do something about. You can do something about white supremacy if you actually want to.
And you know what's funny? There was a shooting in Walmart. I don't know, was that 2 years ago or last year? And the murderer targeted Hispanics. And I remember, it must have been more than 2 years ago. Trump was still in office, and the murderer targeted Hispanics. And the Democrats, including Clyburn, they had no hesitancy saying that it was Trump's rhetoric against Hispanics, immigrants, and build the wall that they said led to this murderer targeting Hispanics. They were full force specifying that this was an attack against Hispanics. We are the only group that they disrespect to this level. And then you will have some fools, and I was just in a Twitter space that Uncle Luke is hosting, and you have some fools still sitting there saying that these same people deserve our votes. Yeah, they do. They deserve our votes against them.
In our case in particular here, I pulled up a tweet from Kamala Harris here yesterday, and she was doing the same thing. Oh, we can't have hate in any part of our society. Hate doesn't belong here. Everyone's doing anything and everything except mentioning black people in particular and specific. And I'm hoping that now we are going to put our money where our mouths are and put our feet on the ground to make it clear to people that's not going to work anymore. We see what's happening. We see what's going on. We are calling it out that you are deliberately refusing to identify us. Up until now, the biggest mistake we've made is allowing politicians to get our vote while pretending that we're somehow, quote, playing the game. Well, we can't let them say black. That might upset some other folks. So, but don't worry. They understand. We don't have to just make them say it, though. They understand, though. Yeah, they do understand. That's why they're not saying it. They do understand it. So second-class citizenship is something that you accept yourself first. And then you vote for politicians who go ahead and follow through with it. So it's going to start with us demanding more on our part. It's going to start with us saying that's not okay anymore. You don't get to do that kind of thing. I want to ask you about something else here, though, Marcel. Now, as you know, in your part of the woods there, definitely, Dylan Roof probably was the biggest symbol that kicked this kind of thing off and made it in vogue for them. So it's been rolling on ever since. But this particular shooter here in Buffalo, New York, I reviewed the manifesto. Gotta be careful about it because they keep spiking the channel whenever I talk about it in depth. But I reviewed the manifesto, and the thing I want to talk about here in particular is he was very, very heavy off in the tactics. He did 38 pages devoted just to body armor. 38 pages that he talked specifically about body armor, what he was buying, what he wasn't buying, why he was buying it, or why he wasn't buying it, in excruciating detail. In that regard there, for our political class, I want to ask one question here. He got winged in places like 4chan, in places like 8chan. He got winged for this kind of specific thing. What do you say to the people who say, well, it's hard to identify these people when we know that in these enclaves now, they've gone beyond just saying they don't like black folk. Now they've gotten to this point where it's just, oh, we'll be specific about what kind of arms, what kind of body armor, this kind of talk here. Isn't the United States congressman supposed to be on top of making sure the intelligence environment is monitoring this kind of thing?
Yeah, and this the same United States Congress knows about the fact that the FBI informed us that white supremacists had infiltrated police departments, and held the FBI too, which is the pot calling the kettle black pretty much, and no specific action has been taken. Now, I have been suspended from Twitter just for saying the word coon, okay? But you can plan to massacre people and you are A-OK. Hate speech, terroristic threats are illegal. If they are illegal in real life, they should be illegal virtually as well. There's a study that was shown, and this was just last year when they did some hearing on social media, how Black Americans are suspended or our accounts are banned at a far higher rate than any other group, even though our offenses are not as severe as other groups in their offenses. This disgusting piece of scum was able to plan out this massacre online. Don't tell me that they did not know about it. Don't tell me they don't have people who are in places like 4chan and these other little chat rooms where things like this are planned. The reason it was not reported or nothing was done about it, because the people on the inside who knew about it were rooting for it.
As a United States congressman, what would you do?
I plan to immediately censor, not just ban your account. I've had the FBI show up to my job before, okay? I've had to get in the back seat with them just because I was calling politicians and holding them accountable, asking rhetorical questions. If we can do that for me, just asking a question or just holding politicians accountable with a lot of passion, we can definitely hold the FBI accountable. But we definitely need to have it where if you make terroristic threats online, we need to have full-blown prison sentences for that. I support the Second Amendment, but if you are making terroristic threats online or you are caught plotting a massacre, not only should you go to jail, you should be prohibited from ever owning a firearm. And that's what I plan to do.
Going beyond just that part, whenever it's black people involved in something, they try to find as many folk as they can arrest for it here. In this case here, if you know full well that he was on those, and we know they've been monitoring, first of all, they monitor the whole internet, period. They aren't monitor the whole damn thing. They have since 9/11. The Patriot Act has given them the ability to do whatever they want to do to whomever. If he was talking to somebody, they've got that conversation. Whoever it is he's been talking to, whatever instructions they were giving, whatever suggestions they were giving, they have whoever it is he's been speaking to. Shouldn't this qualify as conspiracy?
And shouldn't the RICO charges be applied? Because usually when it's something of a conspiracy, the RICO charges apply where you can not just take down the person that was caught, you take down everyone in the network. That is what they did to help take down the Italian mafia. That's what they do when they want to throw poor black people in jail for minuscule stuff. And yet somehow these hate groups, from Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, to whatever this idiot was a part of, and all these other extremist groups are still going proud and strong. RICO charges should be applied without a doubt to take down the whole network. And they should also do a federal lawsuit against the owners of these chat rooms who are allowing this type of conversations to take place. You take down everyone involved. You take down the medium they are using for communication. They have no problems doing this when it's black people doing things that are far, far, far less severe than this. They can definitely do it when it comes to these white extremist groups. I
want to ask you here, in this type of situation here, and I know my feelings on it, However, in this type of situation, how do you feel that reparations plays into this situation where we're finding ourselves being targeted so many times in so many areas?
Reparations will give us the resources and the money that we are owed. When we get what we are owed, as you know, in that neighborhood where he went, it was a majority Black neighborhood. It's also one of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the city of Buffalo, New York. We should be resource rich. That grocery store is the only grocery store in that neighborhood, and they had to fight tooth and nail to get that. We get our resources, and like I said in my legislation, I'm planning to introduce legislation where we can police ourselves, okay? We can guard and protect our own communities. As what happened down here where I am in Charleston, they welcomed that piece of scum into the church, and he ended up murdering all of them. We have to stop being so welcoming. We have to stop thinking that everyone's going to respond to our love with love. That ain't never been the case. Never has been the case. They've always responded to us, whether we were showing love or we were reciprocating the hatred we were getting. They always responded to it with absolute savagery. Reparation will give us the resource to have our own communities, live in our own communities, have our own businesses, and most of all, to protect our own communities. A lot of our people are in the military and have military training. Some of these white supremacists, they go in the military just to get the training. We need to use our people with military training to train us to support and protect ourselves. Reparation will give us the resources to make that possible, to live amongst each other, so that we don't have to leave from our communities trying to find opportunities here and there because they are never where we live. We'll bring it to where we live, bring our people home amongst ourselves, our separate communities, guarded and policed by us as our ancestors wanted.
What do you say to the people who say that we need to wait a little longer? We don't need to push so hard on this now. We need to wait a little longer.
I will say to those people, James Baldwin asked it best. They told, it's taken my great-great-great-great-great-grandparents' time, my great-great-great-great-grandparents' time, my great-great-grandparents' time, my great-grandparents' time, grandparents' time, my parents' time. It's a lot of my time. I have nieces and nephews now, and if I have children, it may take their time. How much more time are we going to give them? When Asian Americans were under attack and that massacre happened, it took a matter of days for them to get that bill through. It had unanimous bipartisan support, and it was passed. And they put in that bill on the purpose for it was to make sure Asian Americans were protected. Why should we, the group that has waited the longest and that deserves the most, why should we have to continue to wait on a nation that we built and for which we have been waiting for centuries to get the payment of the debt?
What do you say to the people who tell you, well, we understand that's your campaign platform. You've made that very, very clear. But that reparations is not going to... What's that supposed to do for us?
I would say to those people, they would have been the same idiot on the plantation saying, we're never going to be free. Or if we do get free, we ain't going to know what to do with it. So let's just stay here on the plantation and slave away. They would have been that idiot. They would have been the same idiots living in slums, not because of any decisions on their part, but because of Jim Crow laws and redlining, saying, well, we ain't never going to get equality, which I know we still don't have. On paper, though, we do. We're never going to get equality. And if we did get equal treatment, we ain't going to know what to do with it. So let's just go ahead and continue to tolerate Jim Crow and redlining. Those are the same idiots now saying that reparations is not going to happen, or we do get reparations, we're going to spend all our money on the white man, or it ain't going to change nothing. Those are the same idiots now. You always have people playing the role of the coon and the weakling every single iteration of every movement we had. And those idiots are just playing that same role. But I bet you when reparation does happen, they'll be the first in line to get their check.
What would you like us to do?
Well, I want to say I'm in the final stretch of my campaign, and this is breaking news for me, and I'm sharing it with y'all. South Carolina has never had early voting, believe it or not. So now South Carolina has early voting. So my election is technically going to begin pretty much next week, May 31st. And some people might vote for Clyburn just because they haven't heard of me yet. I've been on TV, radio, Flyers are being distributed. We're going to hit as many as 70,000 homes. Phone calls are being made, but they are in a rural area where there's not a big media presence. People are always going to be missed. I need to make one last huge media push, from billboards, the commercials, the radio advertisements, the flyers, text messages, phone calls. But all those things cost. And I spent a lot of money to make outreach, to have outreach get to this point, to the point where Clyburn has billboards up now telling people vote for him. I ain't never seen that man put a billboard up in my entire life. So we have had an impact. He is feeling the pressure. This is the most work he's probably ever done for a campaign. But I need to do more in this final stretch. It's like running a race. Sometimes you're ahead of the game. The other person comes up and passes you. We cannot let him pass us. So I am begging for people, whatever donations you can make. The maximum is $2,900. The minimum for the platform I use is $5. If you can make a donation, marcelforcongress.com/donate. If there was any time where I really needed you to make a donation, it will be now. Because what we're about to do to really get my name throughout my entire district, all 710,000 people, it's going to cost. But it's going to be money well worth it. Clyburn has not been spending a lot of money until now. He may very well buy all the airtime. If he buys all the airtime, that's fine. He can't buy all the boots on the ground. But I will have to use the funds to go to that. I don't know what he's planning. But whatever he's planning, I'm going to have to respond to it with money to counter whatever message he's going to put out there. Whether it's an attack on me, which doesn't scare me at all, but more than likely, he's going to lie and say all the great things he's done for the Black people of his district, who are the majority of his district. I cannot let him get away with those lies, and I can't have people going to the polls believing those lies. So I have to literally try to reach everyone, and it's going to cost money for me to do that. So whatever you can donate, please, marcelforcongress.com/donate. And if you want to be a boot on the ground and come down here and help canvass, Repair Black America at marcelforcongress.com. We really need all the help we can get. So please, that is most important. If you saw our brothers and sisters get gunned down in Buffalo, New York, and Clyburn still will not even bring himself to say the word Black, which is a minimum, bare minimum, and he has yet to introduce any anti-Black legislation. We were gunned down, 10 of our people. That is showing you he's not going to do a damn thing for us if he wins again. He won't do anything for us while we're being gunned down in grocery stores or having the life suffocated out of us in the street. He's definitely not going to do anything for us on a day-to-day basis when we don't have those type of extremes. We have to defeat him. I have to get in there, because if not, this type of neglect, I don't even want to call it benign neglect, this malicious, hateful neglect is going to only get worse. He's going to get the message that I didn't do a damn thing for them. Matter of fact, I taunted them. I say, why you F with me about that? And I still won. So my other people in the Congressional Slack Caucus, y'all don't got to do anything for them either. That's the message he will be sending to all his comrades in the Congressional Black Caucus. We cannot let them get away with that.
I'll just ask you a basic question here. In this election, in your mind, what are the stakes?
The stakes are huge. The stakes is really us going from 55% of the homeless where we are now, and we still make up the fastest growing population of the homeless, to where we can make up most of the homeless. Our wealth was heading to zero before COVID-19. We've lost 50% of our businesses. And if we were going to zero before COVID, we might already be there now. We've lost most of our land, from 16 million acres of property to now just 1 million. They were in this room with Uncle Luke, and Uncle Luke asked, name just 3 things the Democrats have specifically done for Black Americans. And some people say, well, they gave money to HBCUs. Some HBCUs now are majority white, and the ones that are Black are majority Black immigrants. But not only that, even when HBCUs do have a Black American population, that's descendants of American slaves, they were still given less money from this administration than for colleges that serve mainly Hispanics. If this is what we're getting, when we are the reason the Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the presidency, what do we think we're going to get when the Democrats, who have done nothing for us, win again on a platform of doing nothing? The stakes are really our political, social future. We could very well get to the point of no return, socially, economically. And we will be sitting here 5 years later saying, man, I wish I could have done it, would have done it. We need to do it now before we get to that point, because we're almost there. And everyone I speak with in South Carolina says the same thing.
I couldn't say that better myself here. Why don't you go ahead? We've been posting it in the chat room, but you can go ahead and give everybody here your information so they can support your campaign.
Okay, it's marcelforcongress.com/donate. And y'all, this is the final stretch and the most important stretch. You know, I'm always still available to reach by text message, 843-940-8983. If you've ever texted me before and you got a response, yes, that was me. But those donations, I need them. You can't vote for me with the ballot because you're not in my district. You can definitely still vote for me with your wallet. And I may not have the money Clyburn has, but I also don't have the terrible record he has. And I just need to show people his record, and I need to show them my record and my platform. And I win them over. It's just a matter of me getting it to them. And now with elections starting May 31st, early voting, which just happened yesterday, marcelforcongress.com/donate. I must get the word out there.
Now, let's be very, very clear here. All of us have congressional members in our states. All of us do. What all of us do not have is the damn House Majority Whip. Now, that's what the rest of us don't have. This is not just any old congressman here. This is a very important figure, not just politically, but symbolically as well. And the right kind of showing on this is the kind of thing that gets everybody's attention. Thank you very much for joining us here, Marcel. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me again, Jason. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much here, brother. There are lessons to be learned here. There are lessons to be learned. It really is the difference between life and death. I can't make it any simpler. It is the difference between life and death. Even though most of us don't live in South Carolina, the real thing is just understand that's a very important one. And making our voices heard, where that is concerned, making our voices heard, even if you can't be everywhere, being in one place, making your voice heard there is a big deal. That is a big deal. And I understand it's far from the only one. Far from the only one. This isn't the only election out there. This isn't the only one. But let's just be very, very clear about that. There's few instances you can have where you can contribute in a place that's not in your state, and it'll have effects on that. Because as he said, Clyburn is one of the people here who's chiefly responsible for introducing legislation or not. For introducing legislation or not. For the manner in which government works. So just understand what we're dealing with there in that regard. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program here. So thank you very much for your support here, Chadwick, Mr. Richburg, and everyone else who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal or Cash App. Thank you very much for your support. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. This is The Black Channel.
Hey, I'm Marcus. For a while, I walked around with this empty feeling inside. I had a full-time job, but not in the field I wanted to be in. But then I came across this book where it was like, the title was just for me. Guide to Being Black in IT. I I read the book and the author took me through scenarios and gave me tips. I sat down and read it and it only took an hour. After I got done, I took advice in the book, practiced in the labs, and got certified. Then I literally got up and applied for a position with the company I've been looking at for a while and got the job. Thanks to that book, I worked my job with confidence. If you're looking to get into IT or even in the field, now this is a must-read book. Go to www.beingblackinit.com.
I am black first. I am empowered. I am on code. I am motivated. I am a proud foundational. My name is Noria Sellers, and nothing will come between us. Buy the sci-fi novel, Nothing Will Come Between Us. Order today at Amazon and Google Play. Visit spiritofo1811publishing.com. Our story, our family.
Join 6zeros.net, a forum built to discuss all things relevant to black people. On our forum, a check doesn't mean you're famous. It means your blackness has been verified by our staff.
Sorry, Chad.
We also have premium merchandise with same-day shipping on most orders. And when you're ready for some dope content, check out the 0 Hour blog.
Don't just sign up, post.
I'm having a really good time with you tonight.
I'm having a good time with you too.
Want to go somewhere private? Just for us?
I like that.
Great. Meet me at 6zeros.net. Black owned, black operated.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
When you need a reliable influx of capital to grow your business, Spectre Capital Finance provides fast, individualized working capital loans with lines of credit to take your business to the next level. SpectreCapitalFinance.com.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority here. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And it appears that we've kind of crashed Marcel's site over there. We kind of got it frozen up right now. So what that means is a lot of folk are going over there, and that's very good to see. Hey, I want you all to go ahead and hit that like button here. Because let me tell you right now, this is something for our generation. This is something for us. This is not something for the elders and olders. This is something for our generation. This is something for those of us who are not going to just sit back and be spectators here. This is one of those good things. You want to see that level of support. You want to see that level of support. Like I say, everybody here, we got a lot of folk. It's flooding the website there. So understand, it's got the phone numbers busy. We understand that. Look, there's thousands of people here, and that's a good thing to see. I like to see that. I like to see that. That is a good thing. Just give it a little bit of time and try it back here later. But I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that. No, the website's not down, but it is busy right now. There's a lot of folks sitting there on it. That's cool. That's okay. That's the kind of thing we want to see. We want to see that you got mobilized. Nobody has to sit up here and whoop your ass for it. We want to see that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that we need to see right here. Because in church, the old folk get together and pass the plate to keep the world the way it is. We need to be passing the hat to change this damn thing. So let me be very, very clear here. I know right now, so many folk have flooded over there from the website. They flooded from the Black Channel so fast over there and whatnot. You got the website locked up, and that's okay. Every once in a while, this kind of thing happens. When folk deal with us, that kind of thing happens. And that's okay too. That's okay too. That's all right. Give it a little bit of time. Just give it a little bit of time. If you listen to this now recorded, just give it a little bit of time. That's okay. That's okay. And that's the kind of thing that we want to see here, because you got to understand, folks take notice of that. Folks take notice of that. They notice when we get mobilized and when we're not. They notice when we're out here doing something and when we're not. They notice that. That's the kind of thing they notice. They see that. They don't just say this stuff for no reason.
Ask, though. Reparations is a big thing.
Look, reparations is big with me. I'm the only one doing the bill. Why y'all keep fucking with me on that? I'm the only one doing the bill.
The reason why we keep effing with you, James, is because you've had decades to prove that you were going to do anything in black people's interests, and you have failed. You failed the test. Donald Trump went out with his boots on. Oh, hell, did I just say that? You damn right I did. There's one thing you can say about Donald J. Trump. He may have lost the election, but he went out with his boots on. He didn't back down. He didn't compromise. He didn't change anything. Donald Trump has been more effective, voted out of office, than he was in office, truth be told. Donald Trump has gotten more done, or has become more powerful out of office than he was in office. But more than that, he showed people how you represent the people. He didn't sit up here asking people to take it easy. He sat up here and stood up for their cause no matter what was going on. And then you got black folk going easy on their so-called representatives and not sitting up here holding their feet to the fire. That makes no damn sense. That makes no damn sense. And we're the ones in the most trouble. No, it doesn't matter whether a piece of legislation passes or not. Your representative is supposed to be speaking for your interests no matter how the damn election turns out. They're supposed to be speaking for your interests no matter how it occurs. They're supposed to be speaking on your behalf no matter what an election does. And we sat up here and allowed ourselves to be hoodwinked and believing that you can vote for somebody who completely ignores you. No, you're not supposed to go for no damn 3 damn decades and you ain't got no wins. You're not supposed to be going for no 3 decades and you don't have any wins. You're not supposed to be doing that. That's not supposed to be occurring. Now, we got so many folk going over there to Marcel's site. You know, this happens when I have guests on. So many folks that hit it. We done crashed the site, and that's cool. Give it a moment there. I got it pinned at the top of the chat. For those of you who don't know what that blue bar is there at the top of the super chat, I got it pinned at the top of the chat there. So if you want to contribute, I'm going to leave it up. But let's be very, very clear here. It's no time to be ADHD. This one's for us. We allowed the olders to choose somebody, and what they chose was James Clyburn. And after 3 damn decades in office, he's still telling us we can wait, we can wait, we can wait. He is nothing but a party puppet, and his job is to tell them whatever the Democrats want to hear. Which is always going to be, well, there ain't nothing for y'all. There's nothing for you. And when you allow somebody to deny you that long, that is disrespect. But nobody can force you to accept that. You're the only one who can. Let me say something else right here. There were some jackasses here, and you can be upset about this, because let me tell you right now, I ain't compromising on this. You can be as upset as you want to be for me pointing out the damn obvious, that we are living in a war zone, and some of y'all, you've been raised by grimy dust. dusty old hoes and deadbeat dads out there, to the point that you're upset about me saying, by the way, you should be dressed like you are ready for adulthood. Yeah, because that's your mama out there. That's what you're upset over. That's your mama. That's your grandmama. Have you considered something? Have you considered that maybe your mammy and your grandmammy and your pappy and your grandpappy were wrong? Have you actually considered that maybe they were wrong for the way they've been living and wrong for the way they raised you into the cowardly little miscreant you are? Have you considered that maybe your mammy and your pappy were just wrong? Have you considered that maybe they were just dusty and lazy and grimy, and that has left them in the ditch that they're in, and now you have grown up to be an apologist for it? Have you considered that maybe they were just, I don't know, wrong for that? Or you gonna sit up here kissing they musty asses all the way into your grave too? Don't be talking about my mama like that right there. Let me tell you something. If your mama sits up here looking like damn me Jabba the Hutt, you're supposed to be doing something. Get some soap on a rope. Put a treadmill on layaway. But you're supposed to sit up here and understand, hey, this is life and death here, man. You're not supposed to be so far off in the stupid that you sit here looking at that. Just don't say nothing about it right there. This is not about sparing your damn ego. This is not about sparing your feelings. This is about survival. You're damn right. If they're sitting up here obviously day in and day out and you are not prepared. You're not prepared. Now you got individuals, the damn gunman is out here shooting at folks. I don't know about that right there. Why you got to point that out? Because your mama's dusty and raggedy and wrong. That's why you're sitting up here complaining to me. Well, guess what? It's not going to matter to me any more than it will to anybody else. Just because you don't want to accept that it is wrong doesn't mean that the rest of the world won't either. You're just equally as helpless. And for grown men and women to sit up here and be comfortable being helpless, that is a mental and emotional disorder. You're not supposed to be comfortable being helpless. You've accepted extinction. And now they're here to deliver on it. Now they're here to deliver on it. Let's be very, very clear. I meant what I said last night. There are only two types of black people: those who understand that white supremacy exists and fight it, and those who understand that white supremacy exists and go back to picking the cotton. And when the folks around you are not ready for battle, you are a sitting duck. This nonsense, well, we need to make them feel better. No, we don't need to make you feel better about being deficient. You need a swift kick in the ass and things need to change. We're supposed to reward you if you're winning. We're not supposed to sit up here and spare your feelings if you're losing. If you're losing, you are a burden and dead weight on the rest of us. Because somebody else has got to carry your ass. And then when the day comes that something that you can't sit up here and wave a WIC voucher at comes rumbling around the corner, you're sitting ducks. So to the clown sitting up here trying to complain at me, why the hell ain't you in Buffalo telling these folks to do things differently, because that would have helped to keep them from getting killed? You're not worried about that. Well, I'm not responsible for it. I would feel better if you would just make me feel better on my way to the grave. Yeah, you just want a peaceful death too. And I'm offensive to you because I'm not trying to have a peaceful death, not like you. Can we just keep it real? For the James Clyburn voters, and there's some of you here, you're upset about what I'm saying about the Dusties because you're a Clyburn voter, okay? Can we just keep it real? There are a number of you sitting here right now. It's like, you would be just okay waddling your way through the checkout line with a juicy juice in one hand and some now and laters in the other. And you would just hope the last thing that you hear is something that sounds like a paper bag busting, and then that's it. Your life, as pitiful and miserable as it's been, is just over. Hell, you weren't getting anything accomplished anyway. You gave up on the idea of doing that anyway. You don't have anything to pass on to your children anyway. You didn't get anything done anyway, so it doesn't bother you. Hell, look raggedy, look sloppy, look completely disheveled, look like you just got kicked out of the homeless shelter. You don't care. Hell, you weren't winning anything. What the hell this Jason Black talking about? Have some wins. You're not winning anything, so of course that doesn't bother you. Seeing a bunch of folks sitting out here taking back-to-back L's, that doesn't bother you. Hell, you right there with them. Well, why I got to get something done right now? Yeah. How much do you have to pass on to your children here? Well, I mean, I think I got a bicycle wheel. I got some Jordans from when I was in high school. How old are you? 48? All right. See, the language that we're speaking is completely different. We're speaking the language of empowerment, and power is something you're supposed to exude. But I also understand it's a foreign language to many. It's a foreign language to you. Let me tell you something. If you are a black woman walking out into public with your damn house shoes on, you're a damn disgrace. And you will be the first victim in line. Don't let some other deceived individual fool you in that. Oh, trust me, you're the first victim in line. Because everything about you says defeated. Hell, you couldn't even get a victory over tying your damn shoelaces this morning. You couldn't even score a victory over tying your shoelaces. You couldn't even score a victory over that. If you weren't able to win a victory over footwear, then how in the hell are we supposed to believe that you're going to score a victory over white supremacy? You couldn't even score a victory over your sneakers. And you had time to prepare. No, we need folks who are battle ready. You know why you need folks who are battle ready? Because the bad guys already are. Let me be very, very clear about this to remind you one more time. Multiple witnesses have now said that Peyton Gendron was wearing his camouflage fatigues at least 24 to 48 hours beforehand. He was casing the joint wearing the camouflage fatigues the whole damn time. He was fully dressed, fully ready for battle the entire time. For days in advance. His victims, not so much. Now, Peyton Gendron was wearing his camouflage fatigues and boots, and he was completely suited up for days in advance. The folks he was going after, not so much. Not so much. And you don't have to like it. I'm not here to say something you like. I'm here to say what you better believe. The biggest lesson you can take away from Buffalo is the criminal sin of being unprepared. And for those of us who intend to survive, we better start having an acclamation to other black men and women who are ready, who don't need somebody to tell them, damn it, you're in a war zone, you better look the part. The reason for being a productive black man is because your economics make you vulnerable, and showing that you have control of those signifies to other people that you are in charge of that and you can be trusted to lead. And as a black female, showing that you're not dusty and bummy and raggedy shows that you're not a grown woman seeking to recede into childhood, that you are ready and prepared to start the duplication process of other competent, intelligent, leadership-minded individuals. Either you are or you aren't. A grown woman walking into a hotel lobby in her pajamas is the definition of you ain't ready for life. And then take a look at where you end up. A grown man walking around here in public with their damn house slippers on. You're not ready for life, and it shows. And it's all fun and games until somebody who is ready shows up. It's all fun and games until someone who is ready comes trucking through. Then you end up with a bunch of people begging for mercy. Those of us who are ready need to take this just that seriously. Because if you were a person at that store, at that church, at that mall, at that shopping center, just understand your life is in danger simply because of your proximity to the other unprepared, shiftless. Your life is in danger simply being next to these land whales. Your life is in danger just being right there. It used to be funny talking about slackers. It used to be funny and amusing. It ain't funny anymore. We're in a damn war zone and they're sitting up here rolling by and waddling by in front of you, behind you, next to you, and as soon as something happens, they're not, hell, you couldn't even use them as a human shield. You'd think they'd be big enough, but in reality, they wouldn't even be useful for that. You can't maneuver them. You can't even maneuver them into position. That's how bad it is. Let's be clear about something. These white supremacists got backup. These white supremacists have backup. They've got folks to back them up in what they're doing. They got folks they can call on. They have people for reinforcement. You're never going against one of them by themselves. That's why they can get them out alive. That's how they were able to get in and perform the kill, and that's how they can get them out alive. You're never going up against them by themselves. How many damn decades we got to review this? They're never by themselves, and they're ready. Remember, the damn Boy Scouts motto is be prepared. The Boy Scouts. Who what? Started as Eagle Scouts. Be prepared. Prepared for what? If you know the history of the Boy Scouts, that was really training for the Marines. Training for the military. Keep that in mind. In any case, we're going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence. The only one of its kind. We dare to ask the questions that no one else will. And we dare to speak the truth that other people are going to be terrified to do so. So you need to join us for that. And you can hate it all you want to, just understanding trolling is not going to make you right. It'll just make you banned. But if you like that, we can serve that up on a platter for you as well. But just understand something. It's a new day. It's a new day. Sitting up here venting and throwing tantrums because somebody told the truth that your sloppy, raggedy ass mammy and your grimy, dusty looking daddy coming out of the house looking like they've been unemployed for 6 or 7 months, and they probably have been, that's not it. That can offend you all you want it to because you come from the grimy circumstances. Either you will rise above or you'll sink below. It's just that simple. You can stand up or you can get knocked down. We're going to go ahead and take a few phone calls here. Let me get caller from area code 352. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Nasir calling from Boston.
Nasir from Boston. What's on your mind?
I'll keep it brief, Jason. Tonight's broadcast should not be trivialized and it should not be underplayed. It's not a game out here, and honestly, it never was. And every white supremacist from Kalamazoo to Timbuktu is looking at Black America for what most of us are. That's unprepared. And from my personal observation, right, in relaxed environments like Whole Foods, for example, white folks in their own neighborhoods, in their own proverbial living room, I see khaki cargos, shirts with buttons, hiking boots, etc. Even the adolescents are prepared, right? And as we all know, the weather's heating up. And Jason, I don't give a damn how hot it is. I wear pants. I wear a belt. I wear a shirt with buttons and a thick layer, solid colors, etc. And not to disclose too much of my information, but I also have tourniquets in the car, sometimes even on my person, chest seals, bleed stoppers, and I'm a civilian. And of course, in case a white supremacist terrorist, their blood sugar gets low and he's looking for something sweet, I keep a Snickers on deck, candy bar. Family, from all angles, we need to be ready and stay ready. You are only as strong as the black person next to you. Be one.
Very well stated. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller from area code 928. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Bob from Arizona.
Okay, brother, your phone is breaking up on you real bad here. Call us back when you get more than one signal bar. Caller from area code 601. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jeremiah from Jackson, Mississippi, brother.
Jeremiah from Jackson. What's on your mind?
Great show. Great show, brother. Tell you a blessing to the black community. We need more of this in our community. And this, like the other brother said, not to be trivialized, and a lot of us are unprepared. Again, I say this a lot when I call. Train boxing, train wrestling, train jiu-jitsu, train mixed martial arts. Get yourself a pistol. Start practicing. Practice tactical situations. Get your concealed carry. Carry the pistol with you at all freaking times.
Brother, okay.
And,
I got to tell you, that's great what you're saying there, but the problem we're having is before you can train for wrestling and train for karate and get you a pistol, how about put on your damn shoes? How about that? We got to start there. Can you put on your shoes and your pants before you leave the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like, I'm glad you're saying that the slapping is like you got flip flops on. I got my guys that come to the gym and say, "No, we wearing shoes. We lift the weights after we done with the MMA training and with the technique. And how you gonna lift some weights with some damn flip flops doing power cleans, Olympic lifts and stuff? But you can't do it. And it is a mentality. I don't understand how you guys sag with skinny jeans. I don't think sagging.
Oh, there were some clowns. Anyway. There's some clown rappers you saw they'd shown on TikTok or whatever on shorts, sitting up here at the damn gun range trying to shoot guns with their pants sagging. I'm like, dude, this is the reason that most of you get caught. You're not even intelligent enough to make sure you're properly dressed to even be able to get away.
Did Lacosta Nostra wear sagging pants? I never seen John Gotti or Sammy the Bull Gravano walk around sagging. Did you?
No.
There it is, brother. Free the land, be one, bro. FBA all day.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. No, even at the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. No. We have a bunch of overgrown juvenile delinquents, can't figure out how they keep getting caught. They sitting on the first damn 48 looking at the police like they got a crystal ball or something. Is hell no, you didn't even make it 2 blocks. You spent half your time, you couldn't even run because you had one arm with the gun and the other arm holding up your pants while you were trying to run. With your Nike sandals on. Well, my daddy was laid there right there. What's your daddy doing? 25 to life. Okay, well, that explains a lot. Caller from area code 281. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Prince out of Richmond, Texas.
Prince out of Richmond, what's on your mind?
It's interesting. I was thinking the same thing about the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And an interesting thing about it, they dressed up in police uniforms, you see. They dressed up in police uniforms to not appear to be a threat. And one of the main reasons, I'm a military man, that the police were there was to neutralize any black threats, any young people that would come and try to defend other black people. That's why they had women. That's why they had children that shouldn't be on the front line. That's why they had unprepared black men there dressed inappropriately. But they were studying to see would black people be willing to tolerate things like this? What would be the response? How organized? Because when we used to have it in combat zones, they would target one individual or one thing and everybody come over there, then they'll light everybody up. So why all these women and children are showing up to these type of events doesn't make any sense. See, because I know why they do it, because they think police uniform means safety. They think that the guy in that military fatigue, the shooter, they think that means, oh, he must be a disabled vet or something. They're not thinking properly. They always try to assign something positive when they see some white person that they believe that is an authority.
They're always trying to dismiss the threat. You got black folk out here be standing right next to the police, knowing what the hell's going on, and they're just always trying to argue some way to dismiss the threat. But you also make a very good point in that regard. Part of the major reason for being on code, people, being able to fight threats from the exterior is a result of having conquered your threats on the interior. Being able to fight threats from the outside is a result of how well you fought and eliminated the threats on the inside. And if you're not able to tackle and eliminate the threats from within, you won't stop the threats from without. So let me be very, very clear. As black folk, being on code means that we call out the dustiness, the bumminess, the immaturity. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, one of my favorite things that she said. She was the one who said that. One of my favorite things that Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said is about how white supremacy infantilizes you. She talked about that at length, about how it infantilizes you. How that a man who isn't productive and doesn't assume his manhood, a woman's purpose is to approve the men who are worthy of reproducing themselves. And when a man is a failure, womanhood, that means the women as a unified group are supposed to take a look at his big, lanky, dusty, bummy ass and say, oh, no. You're not fit to reproduce yourself. We talk about procreation. The other word for that is reproduction. Well, yeah. Well, what does that reproduce mean? That reproduce means to copy, to make another of. Okay, but if he's big, dummy, dusty, busted, you're not supposed to reproduce him. You're supposed to be ashamed to be carrying a little version of him around, and then they don't get ashamed later until it starts destroying their lives. No, you're supposed to be looking at him before it's supposed to be, you don't even let him get through the door. He's not supposed to be able to even hold a conversation or even start one. You're supposed to look at him and say, oh, no, you've already failed the test. Next, moving right along. That's what it's supposed to be. So being on code means that we have a standard for ourselves and everybody around us and anyone who seeks to be around us. And right now we are at war. I'll be damned. We've been at war for 400 damn years. And the folks out here trying to dismiss it and act like they didn't get the memo. No, you're off code as hell, and you damn right I'm going to call it out for exactly what it is. I'll let you have the last word.
Dr. Khalid Muhammad said that a war is coming and that the color of your skin will be your uniform. You trying to dress up in clown uniforms like you at the beach, like you at some little hood rat party or some dusty dude, it's not going to save you. And you know it's not. If you have these people in some store and you tell them be quiet as a shooter, what you telling me to be quiet for, they would say. They would make you a target because they won't harm white daddy. Some people are willing, I've been on battlefields, some people are willing to die to be approved by others. And that's all I have to say, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. You damn right. Part of being on code is that you call out those who are off code. And off code today is grown-ass black people not setting the example for their children to be ready and prepared. A bunch of damn grown folk trying to make excuses for not being prepared. Your children are about to get blown away by this, and you're not living your daily life in preparation for it. That's treason. That is treason. Caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Queen Imani, calling from Chicago.
Queen Imani from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. Jason, brother. Again, I love your show, your program. And it's two things I want to say. This is in regards to the yesterday's program about the guy, Brady, when he said that he saw the guy the day before and he had a shirt that says genius written across it, and he engaged in conversation with him, but it's borne out that he had the same exact clothes on 2 days in a row. which is the army fatigue, correct?
Yeah, he said that he had on the camouflage stuff the day before. So how he saw the shirt Genius, he certainly understood that he was looking at the same person wearing generally the same thing.
Okay. All right. And the second thing I want to say is that yesterday I was out shopping, right? And I saw a group of white boys came into the shop, right? It was about maybe 5 or 6 of them. And one of them had a miniature Louisville slugger in his hand. He was like swinging it. And the shop was filled with people, mostly black people, right? And so I personally, as a female, I approached one of them because he was separate from the herd, right? And I asked him, I said, are you familiar with what happened in Buffalo with the white supremacists that shot and killed those black people in Buffalo, New York? And he says, yes, he's familiar with that. I said, tell me something. Why did he do that? And he said, well, he's crazy in the head, is what he said. I said, crazy in the head. I said, well, do you think there's something he learned at home to do amongst his parents? He said he wasn't quite sure about that. But their first go-to is to say, well, he's crazy. That guy's not crazy. He's not crazy in the least bit. He's more like a genius more than anything. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing I want to say, make excuses. Well, he's crazy. No, he's not. Not at all. Not at all.
It would be absolute lunacy for black people to sit up here and call that crazy. First of all, you should never call violence against you crazy. Never. You should automatically, you should resist and reject any call to attempt to rationalize or smooth over violence against you in any time, in any place, for any reason or any cause, in any way. You're never supposed to minimize it by giving a person an out. By definition, they should have to fight like hell to prove something like that. They should have to fight like when somebody commits an act of violence against you, they should have to fight like hell to prove that it wasn't intentional. Because let me be very, very clear. Killing somebody is a lot of work. Killing somebody takes work. Hell, it takes work to kill insects around the house. Killing another human being, especially in such a premeditated way, that takes work. That takes effort. And to try to minimize that, to say, oh, the person was crazy, that's like just saying, oh, somebody out of their mind can commit an act like that. So he's able to stay focused for this long, but he's out of his mind. He was able to stay focused this long and go through 180 pages of preparation. Now, how many of you have been in school or in college with somebody who was mentally or emotionally imbalanced and they could concentrate on anything for 180 pages worth? Get the hell out of here. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 501. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is JC from Little Rock, Arkansas.
JC from Little Rock, what's on your mind?
Yeah, this deal here, I looked at the video, and I was very angry about it. And I've listened to some of the callers, and they are correct. We need to get on the ball as far as being aware of our surroundings and situational awareness. And we need to take this thing serious. This is a war. I am also a veteran. I served in the Marine Corps. I served in Lebanon and Grenada. I served in the Army. I served in Desert Storm, Panama, and 2 tours of Iraq. This is a war zone, people. Get yourself together. Keep your head on the swivel. Do what you need to do to protect yourself at all times. And another thing, that James Clyburn, his fish fry funds need to be cut off. Old Negroes like that are the reason that individuals your age, Jason, and younger are having to be out here doing what you're doing instead of taking care of other things. I'm 60 years old myself, and I've never, ever been a bootlick. I've never, ever been a Democrat. I've seen what they've done as a young person. And I appreciate everything that you do out here, sir. As they say, march on and have a good one.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me say something else right now that's going to upset a lot of y'all here. Can we just be honest about what this is a fulfillment of a prophecy of here? We see this when the police gun black folk down. We see this when the police gun black folk down. Individuals who do not have a regard for their children, they see their, as monstrous and heinous as this is going to sound, they see their children as expendable. Their children are expendable. They don't mind marching into harm's way and standing around in harm's way. It's like, hell, I got 6, 7 more of you at home and didn't want any of them. We have to stop this treasonous practice of people treating their children like they're expendable. That is the most heinous crime of all, is to treat the next generation, to treat the children as if they are expendable. They're worthless. They're less than. They have diminished value. They're not really essential. These big rotund bastards aren't willing to die for themselves, much less their own offspring. And that is treason. Caller from area code 505, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Mr. Black. This is Najee calling from Albuquerque.
Najee from Albuquerque, what's on your mind?
There's this movie, I'm sure some of y'all seen it, called Dead Presidents. I feel like we got to be more like, instead of being like, looking around for, there's this guy looking around for drugs and poon or booty or whatever. We got to be like the dude in that movie who's going around hunting the enemy and cutting their head off for trophies. That's what we got to be like, not the guy looking for booty or none of that. I also wanted to wonder how many of those guys who got shot at the supermarket were Biden supporters. All right, thanks. B1.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Let me get caller from area code 626. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
DeCarlo, I'm sorry. DeCarlo from Lafayette, Indiana.
All right, DeCarlo from Lafayette, Indiana. What's on your mind?
Hey, brother, I wanted to say one thing. I loved your monologue today, and as usual. And I wanted to bring in one other thing with this when you brought in, not even one other thing with it, but, Cosby told us. He's like, look, pull your pants up. And the black community exploded. It's like he was trying to tell us years ago, decades ago. Camille Cosby wrote back in the 90s, look, we need to secure our voting rights. Black people didn't want to hear it. It's like we want to have this stuff happen to us, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Why is it that we continue to go back into a situation where it's like, oh, okay, here, we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of us going in and just killing you anonymously, and we're doing it again. And black people are like, oh, okay, well, we're going to pray, or we're going to try and intellectualize and make this make sense. And it's like, it's not going to. You have to protect yourself. You have to protect your family. But you can't do that if you continue to think that, oh, okay, well, here, I'm going to forgive and forget, and they're going to forgive and forget. They're not. They realize they're on their way out, and guess what? They want to take as many of us.
I'm not really sure if anybody has ever objected to black folk pushing for getting upset about voting rights. I've never seen that, and I was there. So I've never really seen Camille Cosby really advocate for that, and if she did, I never heard or saw anybody object to it. In the case of Cosby's comments from the famous pound cake speech, while the platitudes, I won't go into the intent of it. What I will say is, number one error that he made, he was disconnected from black society. This is a guy who could have done a lot more and didn't. Scholarships are cute. We need black folk who are going to do like the white folk do and partner with other up-and-coming black folk and get their weight up. You got Entree in the NBC. You're supposed to be doing like the rest of these white folk do with theirs. And Bill Gates was one of the people who helped get Mark Zuckerberg raised up. And now Mark Zuckerberg got the guys on Instagram and WhatsApp raised up. And we can go down the list. These other Elon Musk's daddy in South Africa got him raised up. He got into PayPal, and now he's out here getting other white folk raised up. So those are the kind of missed opportunities Cosby had in his case. But then again, back in the 80s, we know he had other priorities. Okay. Even if that was to the side, the other mistake he made is, even all other things remaining equal, he made those comments in front of white folk. Now, there was the off-code part of it. Even if all other things were equal and everything else was correct, you're making these comments not just in front of white folk, but continuously. I remember him after that speech going on Meet the Press in front of Tim Russert. So we're going around actively advocating to white audiences and going in front of white people to discuss this about black folk. See, here on the Black Channel, I'm talking to black people. See, I'm talking directly to my people. I'm not sitting up here going in front of Rachel Maddow or Tucker Carlson talking about black people. I need to go to black people to talk about black people. That's not something you open up to the rest of the society, because then it starts, I will just say, at best, it gives the appearance that you're saying that I'm not like the rest of them, or at worst, you're saying I'm not like the rest of them. I will give it the benefit of the doubt. Brother Bill Cosby, at best, it gave the appearance that you're saying I ain't like the rest of them. And so what I'm saying is we need to be very, very cognizant about that kind of thing. The comments that I have to make are about black folk speaking to each other about what it is to be on code. And the most powerful thing we can do is speak to each other in that regard. Anything else he was saying? Sure, absolutely correct about it. But there were some missed opportunities there. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get call from Miracle 334. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up? This is Corrupt Author. I'm calling from Alabama right now, but I'm an Atlanta resident.
Okay, what's the name again?
Yeah, I've been a Corrupt Author.
All right, Corrupt Author, what's on your mind?
But, yeah, I've been arguing and blocking people from some black brothers all week. They call themselves defending Kevin Samuel's legacy, and they ain't shared nothing about what went down Ukraine and blacks being discriminated. And they ain't shared nothing or said nothing or commented nothing about this tragedy in Buffalo, New York. They sitting around, they putting their energy on crazy stuff, man. So everybody who in serious, I had to block them, and I just been,
Well, sounds like you need to get serious about, you need to start filtering out your social circle is what you need to do. You need to be very, very discriminating. You can't just let anybody in. You need to be discriminating about that coming in the front door. Thank you for giving us a call. Let me get a call from Area Code 954. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, brother? This is Jason from Palm Beach.
Jason from Palm Beach. What's on your mind?
Man, I don't know if they want it to be put on the newspaper, or how do you let black people know that they're at war? Like, what they waiting on? They waiting on somebody to blow a whistle and say, hey, look, we coming to do this to y'all. Like, I ain't never seen a place, I never seen nobody go to war with a person and say, yeah, we're going to war with y'all today, so be ready. I don't get it.
No, I mean, you have to understand, even during the protests for George Floyd, Mike Brown, Freddie Gray, Eric Garner, you have black folk who are sitting out there dancing and twerking and all other kinds of things going on. Those are individuals who have accepted extinction. That's why we are necessary to make it very, very clear that the way we're doing things has to become the norm. We haven't accepted extinction. We haven't accepted annihilation. We haven't just accepted that, well, the best we can do is sit out here, play around, goof around, mess around until finally something of a ridiculous nature occurs to us. That's why it's important that we set a different narrative. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get a call from Area Code 661. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from 661 has been abducted. Caller from area code 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Jason Black. This is Black Voltron calling out of West Oakland, California.
Black Voltron, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind is the fact that we're in a race war, and now all of a sudden, black folks want to be 6.4 thousand people in this chat. Now all of a sudden, black folks want to get serious when it's been serious for the last 475 years. Sitting here watching on the mainstream and, offline in streets that Negroes, unfortunately, are hard-headed. They don't believe that it's going to happen to them. And looking at these pictures you've shown us of the unprepared, ready Negroes, I don't know if anybody noticed, but all of the race soldiers, regular, sitting there with body armor. And there's not one black person there with body armor on. There's not one black person there with boots, pants, ready for war. So, people sitting up here asking the stupid question, what we need to do or what we gonna do, or, how we gonna defend ourselves against system white supremacy. far as I'm concerned, they're unprepared for life. So, these people they're going to get mowed down in the next Buffalo massacre. When is it going to happen? Sometime in the future. It's probably going to be Memorial Day, Juneteenth, July 1st, or some other holiday, or it could just be tomorrow, at your local, Safeway, Tops, Giant, Kroger, Piggly Wiggly, wherever the hell you at. And you're going to get mowed down because you're unprepared, you're not ready, you're not vigilant. The first offensive defensive weapon against white supremacy is your mind. Getting your mind black first on code. Black people don't want to do that. So as far as I'm concerned, I think, I'm going to be controversial, this is good. This massacre is good. Not in the fact that those poor black people got mowed down by that punk-ass race soldier, but for the fact that maybe it's going to take this and a couple more incidents just like these to finally get black people on code who want to get on code. If not, as far as I'm concerned, the cattle fire, you deserve to get run over at this point. You deserve to get shot. You deserve to get blown up, gas, or whatever the next attack is going to be, because you're not mentally ready for war. You say that 5 years ago, we're in a race war. You had your movie 4 years ago, Race War. Niggas went on about their business, back to the bread and circuses. Believing in, it ain't going to happen to me. You talking all that black shit, There's more to life than that black shit. Well, now we got Tops, the massacre in Buffalo. What's next? Some of you going to live, some of you going to die. At this point, I'm only concerned with the B1 black family. That's it. That's it. And if you got to go, nigga, you got to go. B1, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for giving us a call here tonight, Black Voltron. Let me get caller from area code 706. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Tiffany from Augusta, Georgia.
Okay, Tiffany from where?
Oh, Augusta.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with folks' phones tonight. They're digitizing. I'll give you one more try. Where are you calling from again?
Augusta, Georgia.
All right, Augusta, Georgia. What's on your mind?
First and foremost, I want to hit the target of the black women. When you show that picture of all the black women in that picture, and Khalid Muhammad himself pretty much said that in the Black Panther Party that at least 75% of the people in the Black Panther Party are all women. And it just goes to show you, like you said, we have to have that representation for our children. And as black women, we are warriors too as well. We are the lioness, and we have to protect our children. And the fact that you show that picture, like they said, picture's worth 1,000 words. These black women are not prepared. All they're prepared for is to die. All this, twerking, weave, big booty, BBL, going to the gym to get that fat butt instead of working on their cores and arms and going out and learning how to shoot and do self-defense. Some of these hood rats, like the brother said, Black Voltron, are merely nothing but inexpendable. They're a waste of space. And I'm with the brother. I'm happy that it happened. Maybe some of these Negroes need to open their eyes, and maybe some of these sisters need to get off their ass and stop doing squats and start doing push-ups and crunches and stop with this body positivity being fat as hell like Lizzo, where you can't even outrun the police, can't even go hit a damn track because you're so overweight. But that's pretty much all I have to say, because these women obviously are a disgrace to the real black women that are actually out here defending themselves. That's all I have to say. B1.
Black First Sister, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Very well said. Let me get caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, hello. Hello, how you doing?
You're on live, sir. Talk about unprepared.
Yeah, I'm calling from Maryland.
Okay. Caller from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Greetings. My name is Bernard Bryant from Noonan, Georgia. How are you today?
Bernard from Noonan. What's on your mind?
So far, based on the many videos I've seen I see so much of how the rap music is influencing the youth they have so many weaponry, just as many as these white supremacists, but due to the MK Ultra the youth is still so confused and understanding that you don't have to shoot your brother. You can actually post.
Call of area code 818. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
The average black guy from Southern California.
Average black man from Southern California. What's on your mind?
Everything that you're saying obviously is beyond the truth. Breathing and bleeding, as we all do, everybody else can stop breathing and start bleeding as well. And if that's what it takes for our kids to grow up, then that's what we need to do in protection of them. When I look at my children, I know that it's unacceptable for bullets to fly and me not be able to shoot back. So, self-defense, also getting that mind right as well, because we are the black people who want to live among white people and smile and wave and go to parties and whatnot and think that they're safe when they're not. We have our brothers and sisters waking up dead next to white people in their beds. We got brothers and sisters going to parties or whatever and going on little trips and excursions and not returning. And then these white people can't even be brought into the police station. So you are unprotected. And when you know that you are unprotected, then your priority has to be protecting yourself, period, dot. And you cannot, if you've been blessed with children, especially, and a wife and all of that, you cannot fail them. You have to be willing to give your life in order to protect them, period, dot. And if you don't want to die, then that means that you got to kill what's coming at you and be willing to take out every threat possible. And it's not up for discussion. You can't trade your family for a paycheck because somebody felt sorry for you and paid you compensation. They're gone. We are in a war about population. The people who hate us, they hate us irrefutably so, and they are jealous. They are jealous, and they are trying to take us out in a multi-tiered soft genocide effort with food, Planned Parenthood, a gender war, everybody talking about who they don't like. And, we need to be together, and that's it. And any black person who is not like-minded with you, you got to throw them away like trash. I just got rid of a friend of 25 years because his head ain't right, and he going to get us killed if it pop off because he trusts the system.
Well,
God bless
he'll
you,
certainly
brother.
get himself killed if he keeps up. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. And like I say, folks, keep folk from around you who are not ready. The only thing they can do is weigh you down and make you not ready also. Call from area code 415. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
You're on live.
Mr. Black, thank you for taking my call. I'm calling from San Francisco. My name is Rita. I want to say that I love you. I love your work. I love what you do because you woke me up. Now, you spoke about the black guy who was on the news with the white journalist or whatever, reporter. And he spoke to the white guy, whatever his name is, the young white guy. But people are mentioning the women. But what about the men? It seemed like to me he was really trying to pick that little young white boy up. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Be one. Oh, wait a minute.
Caller from area code 310. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What sound can do?
Hi, this is Ronnie. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Okay, California. And where are you calling from in California?
North Hollywood.
Okay, and what's on your mind?
Okay, so I just wanted to see, I had a question for you and everyone else because I was doing a deep dive on the shooting, and I cannot find any videos of any bystanders from their view, from their phones. Only videos and clips you see are the same ones they play through all the channels, and there's not one video of someone who was standing. Plus, I didn't see any bodies come out of the shop. Plus, I didn't see any ambulance on site.
Okay,
all you see is the same 5 clips.
Ma'am, what are you trying to imply? Because number one, all this really means is that either you obviously did not look into this at all, or you have a lot of mental instability to work.
Do you have any? Can you post some? Because I didn't see any videos of anybody outside the news.
All I did was read the manifesto, but folk have been seeing that. So if you can't find it, maybe you're just not intended. No, that's not what I'm saying, sir. You're not understanding what I'm intended to. Folks, I don't know. Maybe it's a full moon out there. Maybe it is. I don't know. Somebody in the chat room said Alexa Jones. Yeah. And like I say, this is one of these situations you have to understand. To the scared, cowardly, broken Negro lot, they sit up here and start turning this into intellectual masturbation. Well, you see, what it is MK Ultra. No, what you see is the CIA here. No, what you see, these are crises actors there. Well, I want to know why it is. I mean, yeah, they got the. I mean, I know that the shooter left a 180-page manifesto. I know he drove there. I know he was wearing a whole camera on top of his helmet and he streamed himself live on Twitch. But I want to know why it is that the folks he was shooting at didn't pull out their cell phones and stand up and record him while he was shooting them. I want to know why that didn't happen. So you all have to understand, in places like New York and California, they've let their mentally ill and their emotionally disturbed out, and it's Sunday. They then hit the weed, then hit the Hennessy. They're on the phone. They're talking crazy as hell. So that's exactly the type of off-code Negro we need to be away from. We got serious things, and what they're trying to do, what she was trying to do was dismiss the event. Why, there wasn't no shooter in Buffalo. There weren't. No, there wasn't one there. What about North Charleston? There wasn't no shooter there neither. That's MK Ultra. It's a conspiracy, is what it is. And Eric Garner? Ain't no Eric Garner. He don't really exist. Tamir Rice? Have you ever met Tamir Rice? There's a lot of people I haven't met, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a person there. Can you prove he was a person? His parents can. You gonna believe thems? So you have to understand there's a bunch of people sitting up here resorting to all types of personal deceit and deception and denial of reality. And what they're really saying is, Jason, I'm scared to death. I don't have any solutions. I don't have a clue. I don't want to change the way I live my life and be prepared. So I'm instead going to argue that there's nothing there to be prepared for. There is no enemy at the gates. None of this stuff is happening. While the white government is perfectly fine. Ain't nobody committing no acts of mass violence against black people. That ain't going on. Who is you, Mr. Authority? Now that's really the upshot of what she's saying. That there are no acts of mass violence happening against us. All of it's fake. Doesn't that sound very familiar? Like Tucker Carlson? Like Sean Hannity? Like Fox News? There's nothing happening to black people. Ain't no MIBs. Ain't no white supremacists. Ain't nothing like that. None of that. None of that. So just understand what she was really saying. There's nothing's happening to us. So she's going to sit here and emotionally and intellectually masturbate it to death. Well, you see, shouldn't there have been somebody else there? Okay, well, there's actually a video out there like that. I didn't find it. That doesn't change it. And regardless, it doesn't change the event occurred. Yeah, but where are the bodies? Where was the ambulance? Well, the ambulance is pulled up there, and they got video of that as well. I didn't see it. I'm sure there's a lot you don't see. In between taking your Ritalin and your lithium, I'm sure in between that and taking your Lexapro, there's a lot you don't see. Caller from area code 225, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Greetings, Mr. Black. This is Mo from New Orleans by way of Baton Rouge.
Okay, what's your name again?
I just wanted to... Mo?
All right, Mo from New Orleans. What's on your mind?
Yes. So I just wanted to say, I speak to a lot of mothers who have this notion to where they're afraid, so afraid that they feel like if they just don't imagine it, then it won't come to them. They won't keep guns in their homes because, they have children around, and I understand when it comes to smaller kids, but when it comes to kids who are responsible and who are old enough to understand how to handle and manage a gun, they should be in the range. They should know how to shoot. Last year was the first year I took my daughter out. She's 12. She's 13 now. She was 12 then. She shoots better than me. Anytime we're out in public, I tell her, put her phone down, pay attention to what's going on around you. Be on alert. a few weeks ago. I keep carry a emergency bag with me, aka a bug out bag with me. An emergency arose. She got a chance to see me using in action and understand why it's important to have that kind of stuff with you. Why it's important to, protect yourself or always be ready whether or not you need it. So she sees that I keep the sneaker with me.
Well, there are those who want to acknowledge
just
the clear and present reality, because let's be very, very clear. It's like dealing with a fat person who doesn't want to change their diet. If a person has become so intransigent, so lazy, so immovable that they simply cannot get out of their own way, then they're going to make up every excuse in the world for not changing what they're doing there. So there are a lot of folk here, and that's why I said before, they have embraced their extinction. They're just like, look, I'm sloppy, I'm bummy, nothing in my life is getting better. There are no prospects for it to get better. So damn me, damn the kids, and hopefully it's a quick death. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get called from area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Bliss, this is King calling you from Compton, California.
Okay, your phone's breaking up on you there. I don't know what's going on tonight. Everybody's phone is kind of breaking up here. What's your name? Where you calling from again?
King calling you from Compton, California.
Okay, King from Compton. What's on your mind?
I wanted to drop a cold plan that's going to hurt the bottom line of Fortune 500 companies that we start on June 1st. We have 6 companies that we picked, such as a Walmart, Arco Gas, 7-Eleven, and a McDonald's. And we say anybody that's black, any person of color, for the next 2 weeks, we do not go 1 foot into those companies to show them that we're serious and we're united and we're on code.
Okay, first of all, every once in a while, somebody basically says the same thing. If we target 6 companies, hell, why don't we just get really gully with it and target 1? Here's the problem with that. The problem is that we represent 0.5% of the country's wealth. If that got wiped out in the housing market in a month. So we really don't have the numbers really to impact that. If we disappeared, it would be a blip it would be a slight downturn in their profitability. I have a better option, but this one is harder, which is why most black folk attempt to avoid it. Rather than trying to hurt Walmart's bottom line, how about as individuals, you get your money together, you get your FICO score together, you get your act together, and increase your own bottom line. And then you can become a force among your people, because companies come and go all the time. JCPenney, its dissolution didn't do anything to help black people. Companies come and go all the time. If we focus on strengthening ourselves, that's going to get people's attention more than anything else. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Like I say, and the other thing is, black people's money only helps immigrant groups, not other immigrants, helps immigrant groups be able to get themselves up. But as far as, really taking out the S&P 500 or something, we don't have it. That's the whole reason for the push for reparations. We don't have it like that. We don't. You can't be 0.5%. Even if we were 1% of the country's wealth, that still isn't significant enough. We need to get really serious about becoming a force within ourselves. But that takes individuals focusing on themselves first and saying, hey, before I go to war against Walmart, I gotta have my act together first. If your personal finances are not together, there's no way that you're ready to take on multi-billion-dollar international conglomerate juggernauts. Caller from area code 412. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. My name is Robert. I'm calling from Pittsburgh. I have to say something to these two brothers and sisters. Collective intellectual deficit is dangerous. One thing, brothers and sisters, wake up or we are all through. You are caught in the web of permanent adolescence. Grow up. Please put down the cigarettes, drugs, alcohol, and cell phones to only be used for communication and knowledge, not recreation, which means wrecking creation. The political figures that are supposed to help black people are not being vocal about obvious benign neglect. Reverend Sharpton is a disgrace and a treasonous. Brothers, pull up your pants, take off your flip-flops, become serious about life, get in shape, build up your cardiovascular. Men, you are supposed to be warriors and protectors. Women should be Amazons. First Amazons for black women. Get strong, and we can overcome. Sisters and brothers, cut a loose interracial sexual access. It means nothing. You're using it as sexual dumping grounds. Stop paying the machine to die. And don't fall for it. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. This is critical. We're in a condition red, and act accordingly. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Like I say, folks, the answers don't start from without, they start from within. It starts with taking a look at yourself and saying, okay, what can I do to get myself in the best position I can be in? Not, well, let me figure out how I can stay as much as the way I am. No, we don't need, this engine doesn't need a tune-up. This engine needs a complete rebuild. It needs a complete overhaul. It doesn't need a tweak here and a tweak there. You got to take the whole damn thing out and start over. You can't just chip around the edges. Caller from area code 223. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Jason? This is Chris calling from Lancaster, PA.
Okay, Chris from Lancaster. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, you really brought it tonight, man. I'm gonna be quick and brief. Thanks for the message and bringing it tonight, man. I just want to say, are you aware that Are you aware that the dude from Charleston, South Carolina, whose mom got killed in the AME church shooting, is coming up to Buffalo either tomorrow or Tuesday to speak to the people in Buffalo, talking about, listen, love conquers everything, and love trumps everything, and put Jesus first. Do not hate, do not take revenge, and all that. Did you hear about that? Because it was on NPR this morning.
Yeah.
Aisha Roscoe. It was on,
every time that an event like this occurs, whether it's a mass shooting, whether it is the police, whatever it is, they're always going to go find one off-brand renegade relative. And like I said last night, it ain't hard to find. They're going to go find one off-brand renegade who's going to come out with the forgive thing and go on tour. That's the one they're looking for. They'll ignore everybody else and go grab him. He sounds like he's dragging a dead body through the snow, so let me go ahead and let him go here. But yeah, they're going to go find some off-brand renegade family member. And, well, we have found Quantravius, and he would like to say a few words here. Yes, I like to say, if my mama was here, if she hadn't gotten her brains blown out, if she was still here, what she would tell you all is that she do forgive. She a good people like that. So that's what she would tell you. Not new. Caller from area code 704. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Berlina from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, everybody is calling in tonight, mumbling real low. Try that again.
Verlina from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Jorlina from Charlotte, North Carolina. And what is on your mind?
I'm kind of pissed off at the situation. I myself from Buffalo, I have family from Buffalo. We are at war. People are not taken serious. The aftermath. I'm calling my family back home to see how things are going. People are seeing all that kumbaya shit, just like the one caller just said. They're having baptism and stuff going on right by the the Tops supermarket. That's the place that I would normally go and shop to when I go back at home. I want to talk to the church goers and the church hoppers. Are y'all having a conversation with your pastors about white supremacy? Because this shit is real. It's not going away. We need to be armed, just like the other callers are saying. We need to take action.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Alan from New Orleans.
Alan from New Orleans. What's on your mind?
Well, just for the folks out there who just not keeping score, we have a situation down here in New Orleans after the shooting. We have a Catholic school, all-boys school called Brother Martin. The white kids go into the bathroom and write on the wall, "Nigger, you're next." So you got people out here, like you said about their kids, they really not being serious about what's going on with their kids and how serious the situation is. Media trying to cover it up. That just happened 2 days ago. Parents, the black parents are coming to the school to get their kids, talking about the kids aren't safe. So you got that going on. In Texas, the black woman got beat up in the gas station by a white supremacist hurling racial slurs at her. Then you got the white kid in Texas beating on the black family's door with a whip for the little girl. So for all of you people out here who just think, well, you need evidence like that other nut job from California, basically saying, I didn't see the pictures. Well, I saw the dead bodies in the parking lot. I saw the videos that she was talking about. So I don't know where the hell she looked. I kind of figured she probably has a zaddy at home, so she's trying to come up with some excuse
she
about,
just doesn't. She has a mental and emotional deficiency, is what the hell she got. As far as New Orleans is concerned, here, like I say, definitely in Shreveport, we didn't come to get the kids from school. We sent the fathers to the schools, and I want to see New Orleans on that. I want to see them about that kind of thing right there, because you're talking about a majority black city, even after Hurricane Katrina. Black folks will be making it known. It's like,
correct.
Okay, no, we get to deal with this however the hell we want to. You don't take your kids out to school and come get them whatever. The white supremacists on the prowl, the parents are supposed to be walking the damn halls. It's supposed to be like, oh, really? That's what the hell it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a damn takeover in that damn place. There's not supposed to be people sitting up here cowering and scared and whatnot. You're supposed to teach your children, look here, you boss up in these situations. We're not going any. How the hell are you going to have them drive you out of your own city or out of your own school? We're not going anywhere. That should be the prevailing attitude there. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this Chris from Chirac, aka Chicago.
Chris from Chicago. What's
How you doing? Hello. Yeah, man. I can say real quick, just the fact that how ain't no, we don't. Our schools, they don't teach, racism, how kids maybe could learn it, man. Like, I'm always on YouTube videos, listening to your video. I just met you, like, maybe 3 months ago, but I've been listening to Tyreek videos. I've been, Malcolm X documentaries,
Okay,
things like
now
that.
let me make sure here. You said if the schools don't teach about racism, how are you supposed to learn?
Right, basically.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. All right, that's what you said. If the schools don't teach about racism, how are you supposed to learn? Let me ask you a couple of questions. Did your schools teach you how to walk?
Right.
Right. Did your schools teach you how to talk? You see, this idea that the white establishment, and that's the government structure at any level, this idea that they're supposed to be part of the family as opposed to they're the enemy in there, that's the problem. The schools aren't supposed to be teaching your children about racism. I don't trust the schools, and no sensible person should trust the schools to teach them. That's supposed to be something that the parents are teaching. The parents are supposed to be taking care of that.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, that's what I'm saying, sir. That's what I'm saying, man. I was just saying, like, yeah, I'll be watching, different, Malcolm X documentaries on YouTube. I'll be watching your videos on YouTube and Tariq Nasheed videos on YouTube. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Like,
well, sir, no, actually, what you just said is that if the schools don't teach about racism, how are you supposed to learn? You didn't say the parents teach the kids about racism, because let's be very, very clear. Chicago is one of the, if not the most segregated city in America, and black folk as a group aren't really moving in unison in that regard. It's kind of like half and half, to be totally honest. It's half of them who understand and they own it, and then it's another half out there embracing extinction in that regard. But the schools don't play a factor in it. I wouldn't expect the schools to teach my kids about racism any more than I would expect the schools to teach my kids about my family lineage. I don't expect anything positive from the schools at all. So I can't be disappointed by them. I don't expect anything positive.
That's why I'm basically trying to like just. Yeah, that's what I'm basically trying to say to like toward the young people or parent anything. Like just look at a lot of YouTube videos and you know, like I said, I've been watching Tariq Nasheed all the time and your video all the time, learning stuff. I'll be watching, Malcolm X and Black Panther documentaries on YouTube, man. So, you know, I was just saying, like me growing up, whatever, I was surprised. You know, I didn't know what systematic racism was. You know, parents went to HBCU, they didn't even talk to me about racism. Like, you know. They was HBCU and
which HBCU? And I'm like, which HBCU did they go to?
They went to Southern University out there in Louisiana. Out there in Louisiana, and you know.
Well, where I'm, so are you saying that your parents are from Louisiana?
Sort of, basically, yeah. Mom from there, and dad from Chicago, but they went to school over there at Southern University.
Okay.
And
but being from Louisiana, it doesn't really take the schools to teach us about that. We grow up with it. However, you do have some folk who they leave and they go somewhere else, especially if they come from the Deep South, and then they kind of get where they're going. And then everybody's looking for this damn nirvana. That's one of the things I don't like about a lot of folk who leave Louisiana. Two of the places they name is wanting to go to Atlanta or wanting to go to Chicago. And so they're looking for some quote, black Mecca, when what they really mean is they're looking for a place where they can pretend that racism doesn't exist and sit on their ass. And then the children are growing up completely oblivious and unaware of what's happening until one day it blindsides them. Because the bottom line is the biggest reason why it is treasonous to not teach your children and prepare them for racism is because it's gonna come for them one way or another, one day or another. It's coming for them. So they can either be prepared or they can either be scared. They can either be ready or they can be blindsided. One or the other.
Yeah, man. That's why they're basically saying, like, man, it's a shame how my parents didn't really prepare me for all this, and I'm just speaking like hopefully parents who listen, even youngsters who's listening to your video can be more prepared, man. How old
are your? Let me find out how old are your parents?
Man, they like in their early 60s.
Okay.
Right
after the civil rights generation. So like I say, is this a bunch of folks here who wanted to get away from that? And then they love trying to figure out there's some enclave, some haven somewhere that if I can just move to this city, then I ain't got to. If you tell yourself you don't have to worry about white supremacy, then you're also giving yourself a pass not to fight it. Let's be very, very clear about that. You give yourself a pass. It's like, well, I ain't got to do nothing about it. And then one day it comes for you, or it comes for your kids, and they're just sitting ducks. I'll let you have the last word.
Hey, also real quick, man. Hey, check this out. Hey, what I be buying a whole bunch of color printed paper, bro. Color printed paper from like Staples, and I'll be taking notes from that with that color printed paper, because I don't know, man, it's something about, I guess, that white paper in books and white paper period we have to turn in the classroom. It's something like that white paper just born. It's like looking at a black and white TV or something, man.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you very much. The MK Ultra is doing its thing here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 773. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. This is Demarius from Chicago.
Demarius from Chicago. What's on your mind?
Thank you for taking my call. I am currently, very recently, I've been of the persuasion that we can't get anything done unless we clean up our own house, basically. And the recent events in the reaction from our community has done nothing but just reinforces my current disposition. One thing that infuriates me the most about our people is how, and I've felt this way for the longest time growing up, that we're just so quick to be hostile and suspicious of another black person, but yet are a kiss ass to, the next white person. I've joined the military, and I've dealt with even people where there's racism in the military that I've dealt with, and there's even black folks that I've interacted with there, and it's like, I don't know if they're just scared or what. But it's everything that you said. And it may seem harsh, but I see things like this, and in a way, I kind of just don't care, because it's like ignorance is a choice. The last call from Chicago saying that, well, we can't learn about racism unless it's not taught. Like, you don't have the internet. Like, you don't have...
Well, like you don't have eyes. Like you don't have eyes, brother. I've been to Chicago. I've been up and down Chinatown, Russiatown. I've been up and down them areas, man. It's just like, okay, you shouldn't need somebody to whoop your ass to let you know you're in a racial situation, that you're in an ethnic situation. It's not like they were treating me like they were treating everybody else. You could definitely tell the difference. So how the hell can it be that you somebody on the streets in Chicago out there and you can't tell when you on that side of town? I just came in from Louisiana and I can tell when I'm in the wrong side, when I'm behind enemy lines, and I can tell. And I was driving that area with the I forget exactly where it is. There's an area, there's a bridge. It's kind of a long tunnel. I mean, it's like going under a bridge, but it's a long one for some damn reason. It felt like a third of a mile, although I know it wasn't really that long. And it's like a housing project, but there's nothing but Asians there. It's like, it looks just like a housing project, but it's really, if it's not all Asians, it's mostly Asians there. And I'm driving up around there and whatnot in this big ass, SUV with Louisiana license plates on it. And I'm sitting there, I'm not oblivious to this. No, I'm not on the south side of Chicago. I'm not in what most folk would be considered to be the sketchy part of town, but I'm just like, okay, I feel a little ill at ease right where I'm at right now. You shouldn't need somebody to do that. You shouldn't need, how in the hell is it you can't see that with your own damn two eyes? Because if people talk that way, what that gives is the impression that black folk are getting treated fine in Chicago and that there isn't really an issue. And I'm like, how the hell could anybody with any sensibility treat it as if there isn't one? This isn't something that should even need to be explained. So you don't need to have it explained to you about the hoes and the tricks and the pimps and this, that, and the other. But racism, well, I need somebody to sit me down and give me a book and some colors and some crayons and explain this to me at a high level. That's the part right there that just really grips me. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. If you need it explained to you at that level, it's not going to help to explain it to you. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. I don't want any more UFO babble calling in, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, over 140,000 subscribers and rising. We are not a little thing. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every weekend. We are the Black Media. And if you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD, on streaming, and on Amazon. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. All of these are listed in the description of the video, blackchannelfilms.com. Also, you can take a look here at the top of the super chat. You can see the link for Marcel Dixon's campaign, so definitely go ahead and join us there. We crashed the site earlier, but people are able to get back in here now, so go ahead and let your voice be heard. Let James Clyburn know we still effing with you, nigga. In any case, thank you very much for joining us here. This concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is a lesson.